Did you know that back in the ancient European cultures that they had a need to be able to carry foods with them during the summertime? And when I'm talking about foods, I'm talking about the need to carry meat with them that wouldn't spoil. And with the temperatures being so hot, it was extremely hard to carry that meat without it spoiling. So what they did is they learned some pretty cool curing techniques to make the meat be able to last through the summertime without spoiling. Today, you and I call that summer sausage. German, Polish, and other European nations brought summer sausage over to the Americas. And so ever since the 1800s, now we're capable of taking this meat, curing it, using the techniques that they've taught us that have come down from generation to generation to generation. And it is absolutely awesome to think that a tradition or a teaching or something that's been around for 250 years has made it down to me. They used it when they were logging woods. They used it when they were traveling. They used it in the summertime, like I said, because you don't have to refrigerate it. It stays good because the meat is being cured. And they also used it in the wintertime when they would hunt. This is a tradition that's over 250 years old, and we're still using it today. What's up, guys? Man, we are just coming off the back of that World Championship Squirrel Cook-Off. That was an absolute blast. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch that video. Chris, Johanna, and Susan and I had a blast out there doing that. Man, in another week, I got a competition where they're gonna judge summer sausage, the world's best summer sausage. Man, we gotta get this ready and then put it in the fridge. That's kind of the secret, keeping it cold, keeping it in the fridge, and we'll mix it up multiple times over the next 2 or 3 days. And then we'll put it in the casings, and after we get it put in those casings, we'll smoke it. Man, we have got the machine set up. We've got the casings ready to put the meat in. We've got 18 pounds of meat. And we got Molly. What's up, Molly?
What's up?
So now we're gonna go ahead and start putting meat in casings. Let you see how that process looks. Try to keep it tight down there. Twist it. Alright.
Oh crap. Heck yeah.
Alright, guys. That's one. Gotta make the rest of them and smoke them. We finally made it to the smoker. Let's open this up, Mama, see what we got. Hey, y'all check that out. Man, that smells good. Man, we got about 2 hours to cook this, maybe 3. And man, that aroma makes me think of the deer camp. It makes me think of my youth and the craziness that went on at the camp that I was a part of. I can remember one time being at the camp. Now, the way the camp was set up is you had this long bunkhouse, and that bunkhouse was full of beds, and it was a fire hydrant because they had 2 55-gallon drums they had built heaters in and spaced them out in there. And you put wood in those drums, and they had it'd send the smoke out to the top. But everything you owned smelled like smoke when you slept. Bunkhouse laid here, and then out, kind of shaped in an L over here, was the cook shack. Now, our cook shack was big, and it had long tables in it. And in the very back, the cooler, I bet, would hold 50 and 75 deer. And the inmate cooked for us. Right where the doors were, where you went out, there was a great big round table, and that is where, during deer season, the men partook of beverages and played poker. Man, I was a child. I was probably 7, 8 years old, and I think about being at that camp, and our daddies would tell us, y'all go outside and play, we're playing cards, don't just sit in here. So that's what we did. We were all out in the parking lot having a good time, playing chase, playing hide and go seek. There weren't a whole lot of lights out there, but I do remember there being moonlight you could see. And the door to the cook shack slam open, and it had a screen that would pull it back shut, or a spring. And it opened up, and there stood a man. I'd say that he was probably in his 50s, maybe mid-50s. Had a red flannel shirt on, a pair of jeans,
cigarette hung out his mouth with a hat on. And I think the hat was orange, to be honest with you. It was his hunting hat. When the door shut behind him, he stood up straight and adjusted himself, and he said, "Hat, get off my back." Now, I don't know, but 8 years old, me and the boys were thinking that that cat being on his back had something to do with playing cards and his luck running out. The cat was on him. That's what we thought that meant. As he come out, he kind of turned, because in between the cook shack and in between where the bunkhouse was the outhouse. And so he headed towards the outhouse, and he kind of began to disappear in the dark. Well, all of us boys kind of walked parallel with him, watching him as he walked, and every once in a while he would call out again, "Cat, get off my back!" And you'd see that red end of that cigarette as he sucked on it. He makes it all the way to the outhouse. We get there about the same time, but he has no idea we're anywhere around. He gets in there, he pulls the door shut, and I can only tell you how dark it must have been inside the outhouse, because it was dark out there where we were. As we gathered at the outhouse, around the back, the outhouse had wood that it was probably 1/2 inch by 6 inch wide wood that run down, maybe 4 inch wide, run all the way down around it. And in the very back of the outhouse was a board. One of those boards was broke about that high off the ground, so it was an open hole on the ground. One of the older kids thought it would be funny to pick up a stick while he's in there, and every once in a while he still lets out that, "Cat, get off my back." This older boy takes a stick and he bends down at the base of that outhouse and he runs it into that hole with that man sitting on that outhouse toilet. And he felt around till he felt the opening in the hole, and then he goosed him. Guys, the world come loose. He ripped the hinges off the door of the outhouse. I mean, it was loud enough that it scared it. It startled us. And the door come off the outhouse and hit the ground flat, with him hung on to it on his knees looking up. And as he looked up, that cigarette still hung out his mouth, his pants around his ankles. We giggled. And when we giggled and he realized what had just happened, I learned new foul language that night. There were words said that night that I don't know that they're even words. Immediately, every 6, 7, 8, 9, up through 15-year-old kid that was there took off in a dead sprint to the cookhouse. We had to get back next to our dads. He would kill us. Can you imagine sitting in there playing cards, partaking of the beverages, and then all of a sudden the door slings open and a whole herd of kids rush in. We all slid up next to our dads, and I can just picture my dad going, "Boy, what have y'all done? What's going on?" Before I had a chance to answer, the table gets quiet because we all slid in there. That door slung open, and there stood that man in that red flannel shirt, them jeans, and that orange hat. And fellas, he's buckling up. He's trying to get the stuff up, and he wants to know which one of you little took a stick and jabbed me in the while I was trying to take a and it's foul. The silence seemed like it lasted for 5 minutes, but I know it was only a couple seconds until the entire camp erupted in laughter. Guys, that is a memory that I have of a deer camp as a child. It's crazy. We stood around a bunch of fires. We poked a bunch of wood. But I think about the traditions. I think about the summer sausage and how that summer sausage tradition has been passed down. I think about the memories at camp, because even way back then at camp, guys, we had summer sausage. I remember it, and cheese and crackers. And it was a part of what we did back then. Man, if you had to think of one memory of deer hunting, us having a fun time together, what would it be?
Probably when Cody and Chris, just that whole story of us going turkey hunting. When it was my birthday and I got left in the rain with this old dude named Chris, and he kept farting on the bench that we were sitting on while it was raining, making the whole bench vibrate.
Oh, that's when we had the flat tire.
That's when we had the flat tire.
So me and Cody had to go get a new
Yeah, I
tire,
don't know why
and y'all sat with our equipment on the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know how Cody got to ride in the truck, and I had to sit on the bench.
It is amazing how a 250-year-old tradition can unlock so many memories. The smell of smoke, the feel of casings in your hands, the patience of waiting for the perfect eternal temperature, it all connects us to something bigger than ourselves. Every step we just took together, from mixing the meat to watching the smoke roll out of this Traeger, our ancestors did the same thing. Different tools maybe, but the same purpose. The same need to preserve not just meat, but memories. And now, watching my son learn these same techniques, I realize we're not just making summer sausage. We're keeping alive the stories, the skills, the moments that shaped us. Each batch carries forward the voice of deer camps, the laughter around family tables, the quiet satisfaction of providing for the people you love. When this summer sausage is finally ready, every slice will taste like history. Every bite will remind us that we're part of something that started long before us, and if we do our job right, will continue long after we're gone. That's the real recipe, not just salt and smoke and time, but memories.